What a lovely morning we're having. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm going to move the phone in a second so I can get a better camera angle, but hope everybody's Friday is going good. Mine's going straight. Got these runs, knocking them out the way. Seatbelt on for the alarm start going off. But I had a little bit of thoughts and stuff like that. You know, I was listening to one of the forums I usually listen in on, and you know, they were saying some things on there. The topic dealing with payback and things like that, and you know, the topic of karma and everything came up, and other little subtopics came up as well, and it was interesting to say the least. And just to, you know, it's always good to hear people's perspective on things, because you know, you never know what may enlighten you. You never know what may, you know, open your eyes to something. And hell, what may change your mind. So it's always good to listen in on, like, you know, on those things. They're very informative, and it's always good to hear how your peers are viewing certain situations, certain topics, and things of that nature. But oh my goodness, dropped the phone. But there we go. Good. But I was thinking about something I had said in it, and you know, I put thought into it before, obviously over the years, and the name tag all crooked. I put thought into it before over the years, and I've looked at different situations that I've been in, that friends have been in, and you know, even just strangers. And isn't it odd that we as a people, isn't it odd that we are so reactive? And, you know, like I said, the topic that came up, one of the individuals on there, brother I respect, he brought up the fact that, you know, we were very, you know, people, if we live our life based on that, being very reactive and angry and stuff like that, you know, things ain't gonna really go right. And I'm paraphrasing, he said a lot more than that, but, you know, and that's when, you know, that thought that I always had, like, you know, we as people are very reactive. And, you know, it's just, I find it so funny, and I'm in that same category, you know. That's why I try to be better. But I mean, I can think of so many different situations where I simply reacted when, you know, there are times where, what's the phrase? The writing's on the wall. There are times when there's red lights, you know, there's no green, there's red lights, there's red flags, there's different things that you know, you could have noticed in a situation that, you know, you chose to ignore, and you continue to either follow blindly, or you choose to accept that, yeah, something bad's gonna happen, but let's we'll cross that bridge, you know, when we get there. You know, that's another expression. So that alone shows you how people by nature are just reactive. You know, most people will say, I'll deal with that when it happens, you know, or you know, oh well, if, you know, if that happens, then I'll figure it out. You know, there could be tall tale signs that this particular thing may occur. There's a high probability that this thing is going to happen. And instead of trying to prevent it, we sit there and put it on the back burner and just say, I'll deal with the consequences. You know, I'll deal with it when it happens. Is that truly the better way of dealing with life and people and just things in general? And, you know, of course, I mean, with me, I would say, obviously, no. And I mean, you know, and I'm sitting here trying to think of situations where waiting to react is a better move. Now, I talk to, you know, countless individuals and give advice on certain things, and some things I will say I have told people in the past, like, wait, don't say anything yet. Wait, you need to see how this plays out, because there are certain other variables that are that will contribute to the outcome. And if you respond too quickly, things are going to switch up. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand the importance of being patient, biding your time, and letting people drop on their swords, so to speak, in situations like that. You know, because sometimes it's not best to say anything and this and that. Sometimes it's best to observe, sit back, watch. Because in those situations, people will destroy themselves. You know, so I don't want to misconstrue and say that, oh, well, there's never a point where you should never react or anything like that, because there are some situations where you have to react, because again, other variables are playing a part in the outcome and stuff like that. What I just explained earlier is when you don't need to react, when you just need to just sit back and, you know, let things play out in that circumstance. But there are situations where, you know, things could be very detrimental and you do need to react and things like that. So that's the disclaimer. There are times where you do need to react. You know, it's just depending on the situation and depending on the other variables that are involved, you need to come to that conclusion of whether or not it's best to react. But overall, I say, going back to the point that I was making, is usually in any given situation or circumstance, I would, if I had to guesstimate, because I've never read any statistics on this, please, by all means, if you read up on it and there's statistics on it, then please let me know, inform me. So I'm just guesstimating, you know, but I feel like majority of the mistakes and the just bad situations that occur in people's lives, majority of them are not the blindsiding type. And when I say that, I mean, like, you know, there are certain things that happen. I've seen it. People would just be sitting in their living room and all of a sudden cops bust in. Boom. What the heck? We got a warrant for your... What? Like, what? Yeah, oh, this place is put on a drug watch list, whatever, busting out. See, that's being blindsided. You know what I'm saying? That's being blindsided. There's certain things where you do get blindsided in life. That does happen. But I feel like majority of situations, you about to lose your job, you know, you can see that the manager doesn't like you and they keep picking on you and things like that. You know, you see the writing on the wall, you know. Person you're dealing with, they, you know, all of a sudden they switch up, start moving different. You know, you talk to them, and it's not working, and they just still doing them, but y'all still in a relationship, but it's not working out, this and that. You know, that's not being blindsided when all of a sudden they up in somebody else's bed, or they just up and say, I don't want to deal with you no more, and this and that. You know, you can kind of see that coming. You know, that little in your gut, that you know, that's that warning right there. Most situations you get that warning. That's what I feel. I hate when people look surprised when, like, they get an eviction notice, or like, and I'm not knocking nobody. Nobody deserves to get evicted or anything like that. Everybody deserves to have a roof over their head and things like that. I hate when people get, you know, they get surprised when they get an eviction notice, but, you know, you didn't pay your rent for a few months. Yeah, I understand you're not working right now, but you need to understand that there are consequences that come with not paying your bills. You see what I'm saying? That right there is something you need to prevent from happening. You know, you don't need to react when the eviction letter comes. You need to be preventing that by trying to find a job, or, hey, if the place is above your means, then you need to find somewhere else to live. You know, I feel like most situations there are always warnings that come up and say, hey, if you don't try to prevent this from happening, A, B, and C may occur, and A, B, and C does not work out in your favor. So, you know, I just wonder in general sometimes, like, you know, is it will we ever be a preventative society? Well, you know, even in just like things in general, even with the government and stuff like that, the way the government moves, the government is not a preventative government. The government is a reactive government. You can literally go there tomorrow and say, oh, this mixed with that into this will create whatever. I'm not going to say no words because whatever, you know, certain words will ping on YouTube and all the other places. Then all of a sudden I'm a domestic terrorist. But no, just, you know, people could say this is global warming. You know what I'm saying? That's a one thing. Regardless of if you believe in it or not or whatever, I don't really care. I don't get involved with it. But, dude, there's something going on in this world. Like, there's something going on with climates, with the seasons, and all of that type of stuff. You cannot say that it's not. Polar ice caps melting, all that type of stuff. It's happening before your eyes, you know? So, like, hello. Like, what are we gonna do about that? There's only literally one Earth, and once it's gone, it's it's nowhere else to go. But, like I said, I just look at all these things, and I just say, you know, we as a society, we as people, we're just reactive in nature. And even still, myself, the way I even move today, you know, I keep my head low. I stay under the radar, and, you know, few people know my moves and stuff like that, you know, and that's not because I'm hiding from anybody or anything of that nature, but it's just, I'm trying to move better. So it's like, certain atmospheres I don't really necessarily need to be around anymore. And then on top of that, I know if I go certain places I'm gonna drink. I'm not drinking like that no more, but if I do choose to, you know, head out somewhere, I'll have like whatever. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm making is, you know, in my mind, I'm preventing myself from doing certain things because, you know, I know how I am, and I don't need to be in a reactive state of mind. That's essentially what I wanted to get this to. So I think people need to have a preventative state of mind when it comes to life, situations, people, just everything, jobs and all that. You need to have a preventive state of mind. You can't think that everything, you know, you're just gonna wait until that bridge, whatever, and then you're just gonna handle it, this and that. You gotta be in a state of mind where you say, I can see something coming. How can I prevent that, and how can I not react?